Hi, I'm Dr. Stacy Spencer, and I am a Memphian.
We've got some difficult days ahead.
Well, the way I got to Memphis was I was a youth pastor in Louisville, Kentucky, and Dr. Alvin O'Neill Jackson, former pastor of Mississippi Boulevard, called me one day and asked me would I be interested in being a youth pastor at Mississippi Boulevard. I told him no. I said I was looking for a pastorate and believed that God called me to pastor my own church. We hung up the phone, but then soon thereafter, I ran into a frat brother, Dr. Jimmy Cowan, who's from Memphis. And I told him I had a phone call from somebody from Memphis named Dr. Jackson. He said, Dr. Jackson, he said, you need to call him back. And I called him back and we set up an interview. And I went to Memphis for this interview in 1995. And from that day forward, I've been here. I was a youth pastor there at Mississippi Boulevard and started New Direction Christian Church September 9th, 2001, 2 days before 9/11. Some of the unique challenges in pastoring here in Hickory Hill is that even though Hickory Hill is a stable community with the highest percentage of postgraduates and people who've been in the neighborhood for a long time, there's also this disequilibrium in the community that resulted from people being transferred from downtown out into the suburbs when they closed down some of the housing projects. What we've been trying to do here in Hickory Hill is to integrate all those different communities into one community, to empower the people of Hickory Hill to be homeowners, to make sure we build schools that help young people to excel. And that's why when we found that there were schools in Hickory Hill that were not up to par, we started a charter school called Power Center Academy, which is one of the most amazing charter schools in the country. And so with all of those challenges of economic challenges, of people who've been displaced through housing, we saw fit to empower the people of this community, to make sure this community is an oasis of hope and empowerment for all the people that are residents here.
Tyree Nichols was murdered in the region of
The
Hickory
way that
Hill.
young people can get involved in changing their community is, as Barack Obama told us, to be the change that you want to see. That's why our youth ministry, we're called Riot Starters. We believe in starting righteous riots to allow our anger, our righteous anger, to turn into something positive by engaging other young people, by sharing the gospel. We have adopted some schools, some elementary schools and high schools, and there is what's called The Way at New Direction Christian Church, where our young people come together weekly for Bible study. They come together to be trained and empowered on how to share the gospel. And so we believe that children are not the leaders of tomorrow, that they're the leaders of today. So in the leadership life of New Direction, our children and our youth and our young adults are very much a part of our leadership efforts. You can't lead where you won't go, you can't teach what you don't know. And so for us to be able to engage our community, we must be involved in our community. And when I get up in the pulpit on Sundays, it's my quest to make sure that we talk about all the pertinent issues that are taking place in our city. So we're going to speak about Tyree Nichols. We're going to speak about Darius Stewart. We're going to speak about crime in our community. We're going to speak about the need for living wages. We're going to speak about how important it is for affordable housing. So all those issues, I think, are entwined in the gospel. The gospel is and when we speak to what the scriptures speak about, I believe will always be relevant. One of the organizations that I'm most proud to be a part of that I helped to start is MICA, Memphis Interfaith Coalition for Action and Hope. And in this social justice organization, it's one of the most powerful organizations in Memphis that was started 6 years ago. And now it is a coalition of Christian, Jews and Muslims, labor unions, parachurch organizations coming together around their faith to fight for social justice, to fight for equity educationally, economically, and racially. especially as concerned about social justice in Memphis, Tennessee, you should be a part of MICA that meets monthly to fight around these issues. We've raised money for public transportation. We've made sure that our mayor and our police chief are accountable for criminal justice reform, especially after the death of Tyree Nichols. So it's organizations like MICA, and I'm also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, Germantown alumni, and through our fraternity, we are responsible for mentoring young men, engaging our communities and schools, and just making our communities better by achieving in every field of human endeavor. So those are two organizations that I'm a part of that I'm very proud that are making a big difference in Memphis, Tennessee. Listen, I'm so glad to share with you today, and if you want to be able to keep up with my content in terms of the podcast that we do, my wife and I do a podcast for married folk called Strengthening Love and Sex. And you can find out how to enrich your marriage and bring about passion and bliss in your marriage by simply going to my YouTube channel at Dr. Stacy L. Spencer YouTube channel and subscribe so that you can get my podcasts and my sermons and any other content that I have. I'm also on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. But I thank you for this opportunity. And listen, let's make Memphis the city that we know that it can be, a city of good abode and equity for all.
Like and subscribe to the I Am a Memphian channel. New interviews coming every Wednesday. New content dropping on Instagram daily.